We find out that Play was also caught, and the alien spacecraft flies off, presumably back to its mothership. Meanwhile, the aliens launch their attack, while the military, or Freedom Force as they are called, get their planes to hover. They finally get their ships to work and launch an attack against the mothership.
Okay, can someone please explain to me exactly how this alien technology is supposed to help them get into space?
Daleks do not answer human questions.
On the mothership, a woman, who I think is the girl Sissy, rescues George and a few other people from having their blood drained.
Run! And don't touch the wall!
Is that anything like whizzing on the electric fence? Yep.
The electric fence.
This way!
Back on Earth, the Freedom Force ships run into a little problem on their way to the mothership.
Satellites are picking up at least 24 of their incoming ships.
Okay, either your special effects department can't count, or the script was changed and nobody bothered to tell them, because that's a hell of a lot more than 24 ships. I also like how the commander tells the men not to fire, yet we get exterior shots of them doing just that.
Alpha, they're on my ass.
The 3 Charlie, go into equal formation. Not got a problem here. 6, I can hold it. Pull up! No, I'm all right. That goes.
If you pick one up, watch it.
I'm coming back around. Stay on target.
Stay on target.
Stingray, we're too close now. Focus.
Stay on target.
Of course, despite all these problems, the ships make it into outer space.
Now I'm going to be honest, I don't know how to describe the following events that happen because it jumps around so much. It's like getting fragments from several different sentences at the same time. So I felt the best way to describe what was going on was word association.
Mothership. Light.
It's a time hole.
Wrong.
My boy's just time jumped.
Idiot. Awaken. Earth. Robotech. Annoying. Crazy. After talking to the guy we saw in the beginning, they find out they're still on the mothership, which is now on Mars. Send in your John Connor joke here.
I'm George. This is
The place they are in now is a giant petri dish the aliens built to recreate the viruses that killed their first wave and find cures for them. Over the past 2 years, the best process they could come up with is to homogenize the blood of the adults while saving the kids to experiment on. Outside, on Mars' surface, the Freedom Force is engaged in a firefight with the enemy, and we get to see some of the same footage they used when they were back on Earth. Prepare the man-made defense. Back inside, we finally get an explanation of what was going on in the beginning. It would seem that Sissy is infected with some kind of super flu, and the reason the guy injected himself was so he can get taken and infect the alien's entire blood supply, but he ran out there too late.
What do you know? I was in the ballpark with that age joke earlier. Wait, if they homogenize the blood, wouldn't that make this whole plan completely pointless?
Anywho, he tells George that if he becomes a carrier, he will tell Sissy to show them where his son is being kept. George agrees, injected himself with the guy's blood, and then the guy dies. Feeling all hope is lost, George drowns himself in a pool of water.
Nah, just kidding.
No, instead they watch a plane crash into the petri dish.
That was one of ours.
George manages to get himself captured again, putting the dead man's plan in motion. Play makes his way back into the mothership, and miraculously through the thousands of captured people, he somehow manages to locate George.
Inconceivable!
The alarm on the watch George gave Alex starts going off, letting them know where Alex is. After rescuing Alex, George realizes he knows where the brain of the ship is since he saw it in a dead ship earlier, and injects it with his blood, causing it to start dying. Once out, they run into the Major, who gets them off the planet.
Put these on. This belongs to the greatest pilot ever.
Snoopy.
We cut 3 months later where we see that they've all made it back to Earth, and we're given no real explanation on how George survived the infection.
Okay, final thoughts.
This movie wasn't as bad as you would expect from an Asylum film. It's a mix between Independence Day, War of the Worlds, A New Hope, Robotech, and a little bit of Battlestar Galactica. In other words, a hot mess. It had a few good ideas, and the special effects was slightly above their usual tripe, even if they did recycle a lot of footage. Not to mention, C. Thomas Howell is always a joy to watch. Where the movie suffers is its overall story and its execution, particularly at the midway point. The story jumped between George and the Freedom Fighters way too often at that point. Had they jumped between 2 long scenes of each rather than 8 short scenes of each, it would have been a lot less cluttered. The story itself just left you with too many unanswered questions. There are so many loose ends at the finale that it felt like nothing was resolved. Had it been a stronger structured story, it would have made up for all the other issues. However, if you're looking for a good movie to bring to a bad movie night party that won't alienate you and your friends for the rest of your life, I highly recommend this one. It's at least good for a laugh.
I'm Don Perignon, saving you from getting ripped off.
Is it over?
They're on my ass.
Do a barrel roll!